Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering Bud Light. Bud Light Panic spends millions on Super Bowl ad, desperate to save the dead brand. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Bud Light has never recovered. Right now, they're launching a major Super Bowl ad campaign featuring comedian Shane Gillis, musician Post Malone, and NFL legend Peyton Manning. The ad portrays them as big men on cul-de-sac, turning them into over-the-top suburban dads in a humorous setting. Bud Light has long relied on humor for its Super Bowl ads, and this year's ad campaign continues the tradition. The problem is there's nothing wrong with making a humorous Super Bowl ad. It's actually a great idea. The problem is they have damaged their brand beyond repair by introducing Dylan Mulvaney into the story of their brand. And while they haven't done new ads with Dylan Mulvaney or anyone else in the trans superstar category, they still haven't cleaned up the mess. They haven't addressed the problem by at least using their legendary humor associated with the brand to make fun of themselves, to make fun of Dylan Mulvaney. Write Dylan Mulvaney a check if you need to, some kind of a settlement. I don't know. But what they need to be doing is making fun of themselves, acknowledging, yes, they made a ridiculous mistake, but put it into the brand story. Redo the Dylan Mulvaney ad with a beautiful young woman model. Why not? Bring Dylan Mulvaney back. It's not an easy thing to solve, but it is solvable. Bud Light hopes their new ad will be relatable, entertaining, and engaging for its broad consumer base. Bud Light has struggled since their 2023 controversial marketing decision involving transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney, which led to sales declines and boycotts, and also took them down from #1 beer brand to #3 beer brand. In 2023, Bud Light lost its long-held position as America's best-selling beer, experiencing double-digit sales drops. The new ad campaign is part of Bud Light's effort to rebuild its brand image and reconnect with mainstream consumers. The brand strategically cast Gillis, Malone, and Manning because of their strong connections to sports, music, and beer culture. Manning has deep ties to the NFL, Gillis is a vocal college football fan, and Malone is a country music superstar, all supposedly appealing to Bud Light's target audience. The commercial features exaggerated suburban dad humor, including beer-powered leaf blowers, t-shirt cannon antics, and jokes about colonoscopies. Bud Light executives are praying the ad's humor and setting, backyards and cul-de-sacs, will resonate with fans and create nostalgia. Beyond the Super Bowl, Bud Light is extending the campaign with an Instagram contest offering cash and merchandise for a watch party. Post Malone will also participate in a pre-Super Bowl concert in New Orleans hosted by Bud Light as part of the campaign's real-world activation. Company executives are optimistic that this campaign could reignite brand loyalty and bring back lost customers by focusing on humor and broad appeal. Bud Light's ultimate goal is to win back market dominance by making this year's Super Bowl campaign a cultural hit that reminds drinkers why they love the brand in the first place. If they never take responsibility for what they did, and it's not about saying I'm sorry, it's about putting it into the story of the brand. If they never fix what they started, with Dylan Mulvaney, the brand can never recover, and it won't recover. It would take a miracle, and that's not the kind of miracle that God tends to do. The format of this Bud Light ad is being referred to as fastvertising. That's a Ryan Reynolds thing. He's had some massive successes, but also introduced a new format to marketing and advertising. And we will get into fastvertising a little bit later on. From The Hollywood Reporter, Bud Light bets that Shane Gillis, Post Malone, and Peyton Manning can give it a Super Bowl win. The beer brand, still seeking to return to the top of the beer sales charts, hopes it has a winning strategy with its Big Men on Cul-de-Sac ad campaign. And there really is nothing wrong with this ad. It's fine. It's got some jokes to it. It's entertaining, and there is some uniqueness to it. The problem is you're promoting Bud Light, and Bud Light has still not finished saying what they have to say to the consumers about what they did with Bud Light. Bud Light's big plan to break out during this year's Super Bowl? Turn comedian Shane Gillis, Post Malone, and Peyton Manning into the coolest suburban dads on planet Earth, the BMOCs, Big Men on Cul-de-Sac. The Anheuser-Busch brand has been a Super Bowl staple going back decades. usually leaning on humor to stand out during the busiest advertising day of the year. Quote, "It's my favorite time of year," says Todd Allen, Senior Vice President of Marketing for Bud Light. Notice that no longer is Alyssa Heinerscheid the executive for hiring and pushing out to the world Dylan Mulvaney in association with Bud Light. Todd Allen adds that this new ad series is supposed to be building some relatability with the over-the-top characters that Gillis, Malone, and Manning are portraying in the spot. Quote, "We want the fans to be front and center in everything that we do. So it needs to resonate with them, needs to entertain them, needs to excite them. And we're hoping our fans can see themselves in those neighborhoods across America, all those cul-de-sacs." Of course, your suburban neighbors probably aren't blasting Bud Lights out into the neighborhood with leaf blowers, the double S t-shirt cannons, which they do in this ad, or using a mower that doubles as a meat smoker, which they also do in this ad. They might be talking about fishing or colonoscopies while sitting on folding chairs, however, and they have that too in this ad. Quote, "Humor has been a staple for Bud Light advertising for years, and there's no bigger stage to make people laugh than the Super Bowl. So we really wanted to lean into the humor, and I think we've landed that with our spot this year, according to Allen. Malone, Gillis, and Manning are all Bud Light veterans, with Malone and Manning returning after last year's Super Bowl spot and Gillis joining the brand late last year. Quote, "I think first and foremost, they need to be fans of the brand, and that's when you get the most authentic connection and partnership. So 3 guys are huge fans of Bud Light," Allen says, adding that the beer brand's relationship to the NFL, college football, and country music all factored into their casting choice. You're going to be authentic, but you're not going to make any reference to Dylan Mulvaney. You're just going to leave that out there and never resolve that issue. And there's another thing that's also disappointing about this ad. They are having a barbecue on the cul-de-sac in their neighborhood, and it's entertaining, but you don't have like one hot wife somewhere that the guys are checking out, like any subversive element to this whatsoever. That might be funny. That might be something that, yeah, we do that. We do check out our neighbors' hot wives from time to time if we're going to be in a situation like this. That's very relatable. It's subversive. You can do it without saying it. You could just make some references to it. Even if you have a wife like punch her husband in the arm or something like that when she catches him looking at a neighbor. That's the kind of thing you need to do if you want to create any human connection with these things. They talk about authenticity. That's authenticity. And it's a good way for them to skirt around the Dylan Mulvaney issue. That alone would have sold them some extra beers. Allen continues, quote, "These guys are incredible partners. They're fans. And they fit with what our fans and drinkers want and expect from Bud Light on all their passion points and occasions as well." But the spot also comes as Bud Light is still trying to engineer a comeback. While just a few years ago, it was the undisputed best-selling beer in the country on draft and in stores. In 2023, the brand saw its sales decline double digits and its lead slip following an influencer marketing campaign that included transgender superstar TikTok amazing individual, Dylan Mulvaney. When asked how the commercial fits into Bud Light's plan to return to growth, Allen reiterated that the brand is seeking to appeal to as broad an audience as possible with this spot. But we're for all 21 plus Americans, and we connect with millions of people across the country. From stadiums to bars to at-home venues across the country, he said. So we really hope this year's commercial will continue to resonate with NFL fans across the country. When you think about the stage of the Super Bowl, the tie-in to the NFL, the setting of the neighborhood backyard, it's just got all the ingredients to make our fans laugh and hopefully thirsty for a Bud Light. And as has become the hot new thing for Super Bowl advertisers, Bud Light will bring its campaign into the real world too. Bud Light will have an Instagram contest based on its BMOC theme, with the winner getting cash and Bud Light gear for a watch party. And Malone will be on the ground in New Orleans for a pre-Super Bowl concert hosted by the brand. Quote, "Every creative decision we do comes down to what's going to excite our fans, what's going to resonate with them," Allen said. Quote, "We want to make sure we contribute to reinforce that to our drinkers. But I think this year is leaning into the humor that's made Bud Light so iconic for many years, and then delivering it in that right setting, in those backyards and cul-de-sacs around the country. Yeah, conceptually, it's fine. You just can't pretend that you didn't blow up your entire brand and insult all of your customers with the Dylan Mulvaney push. When anyone thinks Bud Light, they don't even think beer. They think this, Dylan Mulvaney. They have to use that, not pretend it didn't happen. And why can't you pretend it didn't happen? Because your customers haven't forgotten that it happened. And you know that. It's reflected in the sales. And no matter how much money you spend or fake authenticity you try, it's never going to work. Look at how they addressed this on Fast Company. Gillis signed on with Bud Light a year ago in the wake of the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco with a sponsored comedy tour, and they created 2 hilarious spots for the college football season. If this past year is any indication, the brand should hang on to Gillis and his comedy partner John McKeever for as long as it can. Not only have the spots been hilarious, Gillis' team is clearly capable of more. The comedian broke down the process behind his recent Notre Dame and Under Armour ad, which he told Pat McAfee was made in just a couple of days. This is what Ryan Reynolds would call fast-vertising, in its ability to deliver entertaining ads that tap into culture here and now. Ryan Reynolds has created his own type of category in advertising and marketing. He's figured out how to actually use authenticity in presenting a product or a service and work that into the brand story where consumers are interested. From Fast Company, Ryan Reynolds acknowledges the turducken in the room and other secrets behind his effective ad campaigns. Ryan Reynolds broke marketing barriers with Deadpool, that's the first Deadpool, Aviation Gin, and more. Now via Maximum Effort, that's his company, he's having an even bigger impact on the advertising industry. By now it's the stuff of legend. Ryan Reynolds had been trying to get Deadpool made for at least a decade when a piece of test footage was somehow leaked online in July 2014. The viral reaction was enough to persuade 20th Century Fox to flash the green light. Yet the film's $58 million budget left pennies for promotion. So Reynolds and the studio's head of digital marketing, George Dewey, got creative. They decided to break the fourth wall, poking fun at movie marketing in a way that hadn't been done before, and audiences loved it. Imagine if the Bud Light people actually poked fun at themselves, which is what they need and they deserve. It's what they have to do to resonate with the people who have been subjected to their ridiculous behavior of trying to push Dylan Mulvaney. It wouldn't make me want to support the company necessarily, but it would create interest and curiosity on the internet, at the very least. In marketing Deadpool, they decided to break the fourth wall, poking fun at movie marketing in a way that hadn't been done before, and audiences loved it. The film earned more than $782 million worldwide, making it at the time the highest-grossing R-rated movie ever. Thriving under financial constraints quickly became the foundation of what would become Reynolds and Dewey's marketing and advertising empire. They launched creative ad firm Maximum Effort in 2018 on that philosophy and began developing campaigns for all of Reynolds' film projects and their brand partners. Quote, "Too much money and too much time will murder creativity," according to Reynolds. Over the past decade, Maximum Effort has lifted the profiles and fortunes of several companies. After Reynolds invested in Aviation Gin in 2018, the firm's ad worked for the brand, including a witty response to Peloton's infamous 2019 holiday ad, whipped up in a matter of days. That helped double sales, leading to a $610 million acquisition of the company in 2020. After Reynolds bought a 25% stake in Mint Mobile in 2018 and starred in deliberately no-frills ads, the telecom upstart was acquired by T-Mobile this year for a reported $1.35 billion. He soon put all these lessons together to buy a fifth-tier Welsh soccer team and turned it into a hit on TV and on the pitch. Ryan Reynolds has redefined how advertising, brands, and entertainment can be mixed and matched, all while making us laugh. And that's the authenticity that's lacking in these new Bud Light ads, trying to be in the style of what Ryan Reynolds is doing and has done successfully time and time again, but not actually being relatable because they're not dealing with the story that they created for their brand when they brought Dylan Mulvaney into the history of Bud Light. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, you can join this channel, become a member, and I appreciate that as well.